Who is the Panasonic X2000 actually good for? Who should skip it? And is it worth the price for a regular everyday buyer? If you're still on the fence, you're probably wondering whether a professional camcorder can live up to the hype when you're out shooting a wedding, a YouTube vlog, or a corporate livestream, and whether you'll end up paying for features you never use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into the real-world factors that matter before you click Add to Cart, the kind of things you only notice after you've actually tried the camera on location. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have is the trade-off between size and capability. The X2000 promises 4K 60p in a body that's small enough to fit in a backpack, yet it also packs a 24x Leica Dicamar zoom and a detachable VWH-1 handle with XLR audio. That sounds like a win-win. But the question is, does it feel like a camcorder or a heavy-handed DSLR rig when you're moving around a crowded event? In my own test runs at a local music festival, the camcorder sat comfortably on a monopod, and the handle's two XLR inputs made it easy to hook up a wireless lav mic without digging through a bag of adapters. The real benefit showed up when I switched to the built-in LED video light for a low-light interview in a dimly lit coffee shop. The extra illumination helped the sensor stay clean without cranking the ISO to noise-pushing levels. Autofocus confidence is another make-you-break point. The X2000 uses a contrast detect system that, in my experience, tracks moving subjects reliably as long as there's decent contrast. When I filmed a skateboarding demo in a park, the AF stayed locked on the rider even as they zipped past the background. It does stumble a bit when the subject is against a bright sky or in a uniformly textured area, so you'll still need to be ready to switch to manual focus if you want rock-solid focus on a tricky shot. For beginners who rely on point-and-shoot simplicity, this is generally fine, but seasoned creators who demand frame-accurate focus pulls might find the occasional hunt frustrating. Low-light performance is where the 4K sensor and the built-in LED really shine. The camera's heat-dispersing design lets you shoot at 4K 60p for extended periods without the dreaded thermal shutdown you sometimes see on competing models. In a practical sense, that means you can run a live stream from a wedding ceremony that lasts an hour straight, and the image stays steady. However, the sensor isn't a full frame, so you'll still see some noise when you push beyond ISO 3200. If you regularly shoot in dim venues like churches or night markets, pairing the X2000 with a fast lens attachment or the external LED will keep the picture usable, but you shouldn't expect cinema-grade low-light quality. Stabilization is a mixed bag. Panasonic's 5-axis hybrid OIS does a respectable job when you're handheld with the detachable handle. I walked through a bustling street market, and the footage stayed smooth enough that I didn't have to add any post-production gimbal work. That said, the stabilization isn't as aggressive as a dedicated gimbal, so any fast pans or sudden movements still translate into a bit of wobble. If you're planning a lot of run-and-gun shooting, you might want to budget for a small handheld gimbal to complement the built-in OIS. Now, let's talk lenses. The integrated 25mm wide-angle start point and 24 optical zoom cover most typical use cases, from wide event shots to tight wildlife frames, without the need for interchangeable lenses. The Leica optics are sharp across the range, and the fact that the zoom is optical, not digital, keeps the 4K footage crisp. The downside is that you're locked into that focal range. If you're a filmmaker who likes to swap out prime lenses for a specific look, you'll feel limited. For a YouTuber who just wants one versatile package, it's a solid compromise. Menu friction is surprisingly low for a device that packs so many pro features. Panasonic has streamlined the touchscreen interface on the 3.5-inch 760K DOT LVF, and most of the common settings like ND filter activation, audio levels, and livestream toggle are a tap away. The learning curve spikes only when you dive into the custom picture profiles or the advanced bitrate settings for 4K streaming. Those menus are deep, but they're well labeled, and a quick glance at the user manual clears them up. If you're a hobbyist who wants to start streaming without spending hours in the settings, the default presets work fine. If you're a working creator needing precise control over gamma curves, you'll appreciate that the deeper menus are there, you just have to be willing to explore them. Battery confidence is an area where the X2000 stands out. The unit uses a standard LPX battery that lasts roughly 2 hours of continuous 4K recording, which aligns with most camcorder competitors. What makes it practical is the ability to hot swap the battery without shutting down the camera.